All right, it's time for your Money in the Bank review with YouTube's The Botch Guy. Yes, he is back, and we're going to discuss everything that came out of Money in the Bank for 2021. Of course, headlined by the return of John Cena. So we're going to get into that. Roman Reigns' retention of the Universal Championship, the Money in the Bank winners for the men and the women, and so much more. Let's get everything going right now.
Welcome to the WWE Podcast, your number one source for the latest in WWE news and straightforward analysis. Are you ready to get this thing going?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Then let's get this show started right now.
Oh, yes, everybody. It is time to review Money in the Bank for this year, 2021. And yes, there's a lot to get to, of which I will leave that to the conversation I had with YouTube's The Botch Guy. Really great to have him back on the show. And he brings an energy that cannot be matched, which is probably why his YouTube channel is so darn successful. Give him a follow, by the way, or a subscribe on YouTube. Just search The Botch Guy, and it'll pop right up. So I want to quickly also give a shout out to our latest patron, DJ Kuzmo, who has joined us over on the Discord side, where our patrons got together and we decided to chat about wrestling, right? And during the show, we were giving each other's live reactions through the technical glitches, through the good, the bad, the great, the ugly, and everything in between. So it's always a blast on there. Patreon is a great place to connect and also get access to that server. So anytime we do pay-per-views, that server will be open and we can chat live. So DJ, thanks so much for your patronage and support. It was really fun talking with you and everyone else in the chat room, I guess, as you put it, like an AOL chat room. All right. Well, guys, I will be taking a much-deserved break tomorrow. I will not be recording tomorrow. I've been recording now 7 days straight. I'm going to take a break tomorrow, and then, unless something big happens, and then, of course, on Tuesday, I will be back with a guest host. I'll leave that to your imagination. So on Tuesday, I'll be back and having a guest host reviewing Monday Night Raw, which I also believe will be very noteworthy. So until then, guys, thanks so much. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple if you get a moment, and consider supporting us on Patreon. So everybody, thanks so much. I'll talk to you next time. All right, well, it is time for your Money in the Bank 2021 review with YouTube's The Botch Guy. It has been, like you and I were talking, it's been seemingly months and months and months, but we only missed one pay-per-view together. I'm really glad to have you back. My listeners have been asking, hey, when are you going to have him back on? Is he coming on for Money in the Bank? And I think we have our answer. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm back, boys. Yeah, we missed one pay-per-view, and I felt like the world was crashing down around me. Yes, so I thank you for having me back. It was it sucks that we didn't do that pay-per-view, but sometimes that just happens in life. And I Money in the Bank was pretty damn amazing. So thanks for having me. And if you guys don't know who I am, I'm the Botch Guy on YouTube. You can catch my videos over there. Give me a sub. I'll appreciate it. But other than that, man, thanks for having me on the show. It's going to be a good talking point tonight.
It is. And to your point about your channel, guys, go check out his reaction to John Cena returning. I promise you will be glad you did. That's all I'll say about that. And yeah, definitely give a subscribe to. That's the best way to support him. So let's talk about Money in the Bank, and we'll go through the card match by match in just a minute. But there's just no way to start this show without saying, damn, You Can't See Me is back. Mr. John Cena, the heavily rumored, long talked about return of John Cena finally happened tonight, and happened after the Edge Roman Reigns match. And my God, the pop that he got, I would argue rivaled Edge's pop that he got on the SmackDown, the first show back. So what did you think about this pop? I think you and I and a lot of other people suspected he was coming, but what did you think?
Oh, it's as good as it can possibly get. Like the thing is, the funny thing about John Cena is like people like John Cena. He's done a lot for the company. He's done a lot for the WWE. He's done a lot for, Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's done a lot for the community. John Cena is like one of the most loved and respected people in the WWE. And the reason people were down on him for a little while there is because people wanted him to turn heel, right? Try something different like they did with Roman, right? But John Cena with this return, you could see, like, I didn't see one person look upset that him returning. There was no John Cena sucks chance. It was unbelievable. It was pure jubilation. It was pure excitement. And honestly, I marked out. I was doing some funny stuff as well. But like, honestly, man, I was really enjoying it. And the fact that John Cena now, it's happening, right? Roman Reigns, SummerSlam. Like, how good is that? Like, that is going to be an awesome match. That's a banger.
It's going to be off the charts. And you know what? Even not so much the match that I'm looking forward to, but I think the promos leading up to it are equally as interesting to me because, yes, they've had a program before back in, I believe, 2017 with the babyface Roman Reigns against the legend returning of John Cena. I believe it was at No Mercy in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And John Cena carved him up in the promo. I mean, it was flat out embarrassing for Roman Reigns in terms of promos go at that time. So now we fast forward 4 years and you wonder how he will fare on the microphone against John Cena. Do you think that he'll be improved or on the same level as John Cena? Where do you think the promos are going to land?
I think he's always been so amazing at his promo work. A little corny sometimes, sure, but when he gets into it, like he gets into it good. Like when he does his serious stuff, it's as good as it gets, man. And I think he's gonna still have it. And I think having a guy like Roman Reigns kind of bounce him off, who's been obviously amazing with this new heel role. I do want to see how they bounce off these promos together because we've seen it, but like I feel like it's different now. Like it's a different vibe. It's different everything. And by the way, I got a little bit of breaking news for everybody listening to this.
Sure.
John Cena is going to be kicking off Monday Night Raw tonight. Tomorrow. Yes, he's not on SmackDown. So my big guess now is going to be that John Cena is going to get attacked by Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. Like I think that's what they're doing there. Or maybe it's just a welcome back speech. Who knows?
Well, that is breaking news. Thank you for breaking that. I really didn't see it. And I would say that he's a legend, so he can kind of float where he wants. I'm not going to get on the whole, making sure WWE follows their own rules of the draft because he's not drafted. He can do what he wants. But if Roman Reigns does come to Raw, that would be interesting as hell to me. And I think that it would actually make sense. I would make an exception for this. I'm a big rule follower when it comes to the draft. But if they want to make this match as big as possible and have it kind of just bleed over in both shows, that makes total sense to me. And have Roman Reigns, go after John Cena or some kind of interaction where maybe security's trying to get at him or he gets a free pass for the night, whatever it may be. I think that's great. And having him kick off Raw is quite interesting, especially if he's going to be facing Roman Reigns. So thank you for the breaking news. But the other thing I'll say about Roman Reigns and John Cena, the reaction to John Cena, as you talked about at the beginning of the show, it was interesting to me because that was probably out of all the John Cena returns and reactions and matches he's had over his, my God, nearly 20-year career in WWE, that may have been the single most unified cheer for John Cena I've ever heard ever for any situation he's been in. And I think it's a couple of factors. Number one, COVID, a lack of star power. You have the fact that they're back in front of the WWE universe. You have the fact that John Cena has been out of WWE since the Bray Wyatt match, and I say match very loosely, from last year's WrestleMania. Like, there are so many contributing factors, and the whole, absence makes the heart grow fonder. There's also that. There's so many different things that are contributed to that, but that is the most unified I've ever heard the fans.
It's a combination of literally the perfect storm, right? It's everything coming together in one beautiful package, right? And I do think the biggest thing by far is the lack of star power, or maybe the lack of booking proper star power, I should say, because I feel like the WWE needed an injection of a John Cena, of I guess potentially The Rock and Edge and all these old timers. Where before I would say they didn't. Because they were trying to build people, but something is going on with the roster. I don't know what it is. I think it's talented enough, but it's not connecting as well with fans. And I think this would be a nice little pick me up for the crowd. Maybe have some of these guys put over some other guys, and then we can kind of move on from there. So usually I'm not a big fan of bringing back legends. This is obviously a complete exception to the rule, and The Rock coming back would be a complete exception to the rule as well. Like I'm at the point now. I don't think it's an if. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. The build up. We're going to have The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, the more I think about that one too, I know we're getting like a few steps ahead of us and all that kind of thing. But we're fantasy booking, but I don't know if it's fantasy booking anymore. It's probability booking because
it's probability booking. Yeah,
we're looking at The Rock, and the rumor is that he'll be returning around Survivor Series to build to Mania. I think that's a perfect window of opportunity and enough time to build it. 4 months or so to build it? 5 months? You'd have more than enough time. So yeah, I think after John Cena, and I think we kind of know the outcome there of who's going to win, which is fine and it makes sense. And once The Rock comes back, it's a shoo-in. So all right, well, let's move into the actual show itself here. And the kickoff show was probably one of the best kickoff matches that I've ever seen ever. I mean, I don't know why this was not on the pay-per-view. And that was Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso defeating Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio to win the SmackDown tag titles. So were you surprised by this outcome? Did you kind of see this one coming as well, as Roman and the Usos are officially labeled the Bloodline now too?
They should be called the king of the pre-shows because the Usos, man, they always show up, man. Like I'm even remember back when they had the New Day versus the Usos.
Yep.
That was a pre-show match. That was better than like probably the whole pay-per-view that they had that time. And they just continue to put the work, man. Like I'm telling you, and you know what? The shout outs to Rey Mysterio and Dominic, probably one of the best matches, maybe their best matches they've had together yet so far. So. And I would say, even individually, Dominic probably his best match as an individual competitor as well. I feel like he was really solid, man. He did some good moves, some nice rope moves. So I loved it. And it makes no sense that it wasn't on the main show. I would actually see the funny thing is I would replace the AJ Styles match with the Usos match, but then after thinking about it, AJ Styles, like he had a crazy pop too, right? So. It's and almost had a breakout. We'll talk about that a little later, but it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I have no problem with this, and I didn't think that Rey Mysterio and Dominic were doing a whole lot with the titles. It was just a feel-good father-son story, and to bring it to the Usos so they can actually make use of those championships, whereas kind of Rey and Dominic were a dead end. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. They're not really going to be going anywhere. I mean, it's the Usos, it's Roman Reigns leading SmackDown, really leading WWE at this point, but you have them as the tag team champions. Then you have the head of the table with the Universal Championship. I mean, they do have all the gold. It's a great heat gathering scenario to create, and I loved it. This match was really good. So next, this was actually the one that started off the pay-per-view. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Alexa, Nikki, ASH, we don't say Ash anymore for some reason, Asuka, Naomi, Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, Natalya, and Tamina. What did you think about this match and the ultimate winner of Nikki, ASH?
Well, I think the entire match was done to put over Liv Morgan to the point that she's not just a no-namer kind of anymore. She's there. She's getting very close. And, I know Nikki Ash did win. And I honestly, I know, see, we never actually talked about this because we didn't talk, because we didn't do the last pay-per-view and we didn't talk about the Monday Night Raw stuff. But I'm a fan of the Nikki Cross, gimmick. I actually think it brings some pretty good emotions out of me. So I just think there needs to be more positivity in this world, and I have no problem with her doing it. So I'm happy for her to get that opportunity. That being said, the way they've been hyping Liv Morgan, like I felt like this should have been her moment. But at the same time, like it's understandable that they didn't go there because you want to build her up a little bit more. So, but as for Nikki Ash winning, like it makes no sense storyline wise. I don't understand. Like, I would prefer even having maybe even Alexa Bliss with it because at least like she can do some weird stuff with it. But she's been struggling recently, so I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, Alexa Bliss was my pick to win this, so I'm 0 for 1 to start the show here, and I really thought that Alexa Bliss was the most interesting character. She was struggling. The fan backlash on social media was not good, and she responded to that, and especially bringing Lily and putting her in timeout. That's really where things started to take a dive. But you know what? Sometimes social media isn't necessarily a complete mirror of what you're going to get in person, and I think that the fans in person reacted better to Alexa Bliss than they did of Nikki. So you just never know, and I think WWE is still trying to get their feet underneath them to see what the fans are really reacting to, and it's not just looking at people's tweets and complaints and all that kind of stuff, because as you know, looking at social media, 75% of it's going to be negativity. You may have somebody really love something, but they're not going to necessarily go and put that on Twitter, because that's just, as apparently as human beings, that's not what we tend to do. So I think that Alexa Bliss would have been more interesting. Unlike you, I'm actually not a fan of the Nikki thing. I understand completely why people gravitate to it. I respect it. I get it. It's just not my thing personally, maybe because I'm just a dark SOB. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I thought Alexa was a better choice. Even Zelina Vega got a little bit of a pop there. Not a whole lot of momentum on her end. But yeah, you're right. The Liv Morgan feel-good, sympathetic story, I think was one of the better told stories tonight with this match, particularly in the women's division. And having Liv Morgan struggle and continue to try to scratch and claw is a good thing for her character. Just because they didn't pull the trigger tonight with Liv Morgan doesn't mean they're not going to. You know, there are many different ways to skin a cat, as they say, and I think Liv Morgan could get herself in the title picture even in the next couple of months or sooner. I mean, so people are all discouraged that they're not going to do anything with her. WWE has recognized what the fans look at, and they know that. Even the announcer said that she's the sympathetic, or she's the sympathy underdog or something like that. So yeah, I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah, and let me say this about Alexa, like you're spot on. The crowd reacted way better than, some of the social media. But let me say this about social media, yes, there's some good things about it, but there's a lot of really bad things about it. And the fact is that people can be very negative and very disrespectful and stalkerish, and it's just weird, really weird people out there, and it really sucks that when she has these moments that, or people are maybe just a little too crazy to her, and it really disappointing me, and it really upsets me. It frustrates me. As a storyline, I thought her storyline's kind of been slowing down. I think she's been struggling with the storyline purposes more than anything, just because I just feel I don't know, since the Lily thing, it's just the whole manipulation, brainwashing stuff. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. That being said, I'm a big fan of her, right? I'm a big fan of her, and I think the gimmick can still work. I think the gimmick can work really well. Remember we were talking back, we're man, remember when she turned Super Saiyan and did all that crazy, she got super strong for a second. She can't use it all the time, but man, it would be nice to her bring it out once in a while. I don't know what direction this is. I'm not sure who kind of came up with it. Maybe it was Alexa herself, and that happens, right? So I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen with her character. I'm curious what they're going to do next with her. I'm also curious what's going to happen with the Fiend. Where's Bray Wyatt, man? I miss the guy.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt's also one of the people that we're not thinking about a return for. I mean, he will return at some point. And so Keith Lee, all these people that we're looking at Roman, we're looking at Brock, we're looking at John Cena, we're looking at those top guys and Becky. But you forget about these ancillary people that you're oh yeah, that's right. Where are they? And Bray Wyatt's one of those. So the last thing I'll say, on Alexa Bliss, is that she is going to have trouble. WWE is going to have trouble, I think, trying to do their hocus pocus stuff. If they do it, they've been toning it down. When there's no Thunderdome, there's no camera tricks to be had. I mean, they're live as live can be now, so they need to either find a way to get her out of this, and there's some kind of antidote to bring her back to what she was. I don't know if that's a good idea or bad. Probably an argument for another day. But or they continue to kind of keep her a mild hypnotic powered woman. I mean, that's the only thing she's been able to do is hypnosis. Apparently, you just look into her eyes and you just mirror what she does. So that's all she's got, and they've taken it down really to as low of a level as you can get.
She shoots fire. Oh no, maybe that was Lily. I guess Lily technically is the one, but she shot that fire originally. Remember with Randy Orton? So who knows, man? Who knows? That's the thing. But isn't that the kind of the problem? It's a cool concept, cool gimmick. but like we don't know exactly what she can and cannot do. So I guess that leaves the mystery. But at the same time, if you keep spamming these weird things, it's not going to be as interesting. If you do it one time, it's interesting, right? Do something different. Do it one time. But when you're doing the brainwashing stuff every single week, like, to me, it's like I would like to see something a little more creative than that. I don't know. Alexa's a very interesting character. I think she'll figure it out, man. She's too talented. I think she'll figure it out. Future Hall of Famer, by the way.
Oh God, I think she's already. I mean, she's already kind of made her bed there, and I think that Alexa she's when we're debating this, and I think that we're feeling like she's struggling. I think that WWE and her character and herself, Lexi, are at a crossroads with it. They're at the point where they've traveled the road they want to travel, and now they either need to take a detour or stay on the highway with it. And I don't know, and they don't probably know where to go with it. But it feels like something's got to change a little bit with Alexa, one way or the other. I don't know which way that's going to be. It just feels like she's at a crossroads. And that's normal. That's what happens with wrestling characters. That's forever. I mean, that's just the way it works. So, all right, AJ Styles and Amos, I don't know, pick your pronunciation, versus the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar for the Raw Tag Team titles. Man, oh man, you wouldn't have guessed that AJ Styles and Omos are heels, would you? Especially AJ Styles. Man, this was wow. Go ahead.
First of all, I know he's still pretty fresh, but that was a huge coming out party for Omos, man. I thought he was brilliant.
Botchy has something to say about this match.
Botchy, what do you think about Omos? He's barking at someone. Sorry about that. I'm gonna just talk through it. So yeah, Omos had a big coming out party, man. He looked great, didn't he? Yeah, even in the timing, it's weird because when you watch him, like, he seems kind of awkward in the ring. Like, he doesn't seem to kind of know what he's doing sometimes, but then he goes and does like things so easily. I'm not sure if you saw my tweet on my Twitter, but of Omos in the body slam. Did you actually see it by any chance?
No, I didn't.
So if you go to my Twitter, Botch_Guy, by the way, that's called a cheap plug, by the way. That's classic cheap plug move. If you go to my Twitter, you can actually see the body slam. Omos does it so freaking easily. It's insane. He picks up Ivar like he weighs like 5 pounds. It's unbelievable. And that spot where he pushes the guy to break up the pin, like, it was so nice. Honestly, great. And as for AJ Styles, like, he's still one of the most over people. Like, fans love him, man. Like, no matter what he does, no matter what storyline, what gimmick, AJ Styles just is loved by the fans. And if that's a heel group, that's not going to be a heel group for much longer. They need to find a heel to go against them because they're over, man. They're completely over.
Well, it doesn't help that you're showing the Viking Raiders in one of the worst segments of the pandemic era of doing the whole what was it, the Street Profits, doing like javelin and basketball, all these like nonsense crap. Like, out of everything you could choose, what they did during the Thunderdome era, pandemic era, you choose that, going to like local high school gyms and playing like, basically dress up with them. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But Matt, like, you have to understand, like, this is why, like, that when it happened the night after WrestleMania, they came back or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And I know I read Twitter and I read my YouTube comments. Everybody's like, yeah, the Viking Raiders are back. I'm so excited for them, right? And I'm like, are you? Mm-hmm. Are you really? There's no storyline attached to this return. It's just a basic return. Like, yeah, they're getting this opportunity. Did they really earn it? Like, technically they won the match to get into it, but like, where was the storyline building before that? Like, it should have been probably Randy Orton and Riddle. Like, it doesn't, like, these guys are obviously talented guys. Their gimmick is fine. I just feel like they have no idea how to book these Vikings. I feel like they really have no idea. They don't have a clue how to book these guys. And maybe that's because of the gimmick. Maybe it's not, but I'm really wondering moving forward what you could do to these guys to make them, possibly go over in the future, or like even turning them heel. I don't think is going to work because, again, like, I don't know, how do you book the Viking Raiders? Like, how do you book them? Like, how would you book them?
Well, I think that they if they're going to turn him heel, maybe they do turn him heel, because AJ and Omos, they'll try to book them as heels. Right now they're over, and in front of a live audience they will be over. So then of course you have Riddle and Randy Orton wherever the hell he's hiding. You have a couple of big babyface teams, and then you have the Viking Raiders, who are quote booked as a babyface team. Then I think I would actually I would turn them heel. I mean, I wouldn't overthink it. The thing is, whatever you choose for them, and I choose heel, you have to give them mic time. They rarely do that. They just come out, they have their outfits on. They're a very well-oiled machine. They're, I think, one of the few true tag teams. They're not just two individuals stuck together. They feel like an old school tag team. Make them an old school tag team, but give people a reason to love them or hate them. Give them a freaking microphone to speak. It doesn't have to be in a long, drawn-out promo. Just give them some kind of personality. And I understand they do it occasionally backstage, but backstage and in front of a live crowd with the microphone in your hand is a different story. So that's what I would do.
Can't you make them feel more special? Like, remember when Rusev came out on a tank? Like, can't you make him feel more special, like a little bigger attraction? Like, make him come out on like one of those big Viking boats. Like, like do something fun at least with them when they're doing their entrances or backstage promos. Like they're Viking characters. Like, you could come up with something with Viking characters, can't you? Like,
I mean, maybe they come out on like Saber-Tooth Tiger. I don't know. I mean, like,
ride a tiger. Maybe give them little like axes or something to throw at people or something. I don't know. Like there needs to be there should be something you could have done. Like I still said, like I said this once and I'll say this again. I wanted this with God, not the APA. What are those? Oh my God, Authors of Pain. I wanted the APA gimmick with Authors of Pain, where they hitman. They should have made the Viking Raiders hitmen. People should have like hired these Vikings to do jobs for people. Like, I still feel like that would be kind of cool, but I don't know, man. Like,
even a manager for them. Like, I mean, like, get them over with somebody that's good on the mic.
Who's going to be the manager of the Viking Raiders?
I don't know.
Think of another Viking-looking manager.
I know. I'm just right now we're pulling at straws. I mean, something. You're right though. The overall concept though is that they need something more, and I think it's a combination of things. I don't think it's just one. I think more mic time, better character development, more to their attire or what they do in the ring other than cartwheels. I agree that there's something missing, and I think it's a multitude of things. They're fundamentally sound. They're a well-oiled team, but without emotional investment, fans don't care. So whether you turn them heel or face, if I don't care about you to begin with, then I don't care what you do. So, but nonetheless, AJ Styles and Omos clearly over here. I mean, over to the point where it was hilarious that they were trying to be booked as the heels. AJ Styles was the star of the show here, although Omos, as I said, the overhead slam he did on Ivar was insane. It wasn't just the power slam that I saw on your Twitter feed. I did take a look. It was that overhead press slam that he did on a 300-pound man. Like, that is insane. So, like,
the beast, man. I couldn't believe it. Like, he looked amazing. Like, there's really not much else to say about Omos. Like, he really looked amazing.
He did. For his, we're taking the standard to his size of a man, right? Like, you're not going to compare him apples to apples with AJ Styles or Ricochet. Like, you have to look at him through his own lens. And for his size, I think he's doing well. So, they retain the tag titles, which I think people were probably a little conflicted about because they want AJ Styles in a singles role, but they don't want him to lose, and if he loses, then he's potentially going to be a single star after that. But if he retains, that means he's stuck in the tag team. So there is a little bit of a conflict of interest there. But all right, let's move on to Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston, and what I was actually hoping for, and I actually predicted, was a squash match for Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston. So I have to give myself a small pat on the back and stroke my ego. And one of the very few predictions I got right on this show. I was pretty bad overall. But Kofi Kingston gets squashed in what was essentially The Brock Lesnar 7-second infamous squash on the first Fox on SmackDown, or SmackDown on Fox a couple of years ago, except this was strung out over several minutes. That's essentially what this was, but I think it established Bobby as a beast. That promo he cut on Monday Night Raw actually held water. It wasn't just eyewash. It wasn't just something he said that was cool. It was actually executed, and I love that. And if you're trying to get Bobby Lashley ready for that next guy, and we can talk about who that may be, there's a couple of options.
One option.
Well, there is one option, but I think WWE is looking at two, and I'll get to that in a minute and I'll toss it to you. But Bobby Lashley right now, if you want to get him ready for that next opponent, you have to make him not even have Kofi Kingston be competitive against Bobby Lashley. So take it away.
Yes. So let me say this about Kofi. Okay, so for the Kofi King, okay, I went different direction because I'm like, if this potential Goldberg thing never happens, like because you probably heard that Goldberg might be one of the guys. So let's say potentially this never happened. I was actually thinking MVP was going to turn heel on Bobby Lashley, join up with Kofi Kingston, and start a new stable there. I think that would have been brilliant because of the past history with MVP and Kofi and how he got emotional when he won the title. And I thought they were booking Kofi pretty well. But obviously they're going to go the complete squash part. And by the way, I hate to break your heart here, but Bobby Lashley literally just tweeted and he said, "Who's next?" So there's your answer.
Oh, no, he didn't.
He sure did. Take a look.
Oh God. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm not, I promise you, I hate to tell you that, but that's happening. So, yeah. So Bobby, I'm telling you guys, make sure you go to my channel when Goldberg returns, because you're gonna hear some fun comments. I'm gonna be crying. I'm gonna be ranting. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. Oh, I can't wait.
This is a travesty. I'm looking now. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you're right. He says this is an hour ago. He posted it. Yeah. Untouchable. Who's next? In big caps.
Who's next?
God, no. I think we all can collectively groan at this. And Bobby Lashley, here's where I want to talk about. Bobby Lashley did get booed tonight, and I actually thought he would get more of a positive reaction. I thought Kofi would get a more negative reaction, and the roles would be flipped. But the crowd they played along like good little fans, and they cheered and booed for her. Generally, who WWE was hoping that they would. But I don't think that. If you're going to bring back Goldberg, right? Like if you're going to bring back a 50-some-year-old man that walks in every time he comes back and thinks he is owed a championship opportunity and pretend that or have the disillusion that we're going to cheer for a man like that, I hope that all the fans can agree with me in saying that, no, that's not going to happen. I hope when Goldberg comes back that he gets booed into oblivion. Like, if they bring him back as a heel, I would agree with that because he has so much he could pull from being a heel, saying he's owed this, that I never got this opportunity. Do you know who I am? Like, there's 1,000 things he could pull from, and it's believable. But for us to, as fans, somehow relate to this 50-some-year-old man that was successful in another company, rivaling WWF at the time, and has an extremely limited moveset. You know exactly what kind of match you're getting every single time that he has one. There's no fluctuation. It's finish, signature move, finish. There's just nothing else. And so I really hope that the fans don't buy into this and they just absolutely dismantle Goldberg upon his return.
Well said. I'm just trying to picture Goldberg, coming out and like, when was the last time he even won a match? I don't even know when he was. Was it the Fiend? Was it the Fiend? Or no, it was Ziggler. I think it was Ziggler. Yeah, Ziggler. They had to throw him one of those. And the funny thing is, Ziggler sold like crazy during that match so well. I'll say this about Goldberg. I have. It's not that I have like zero interest in watching him. I think it's less than zero. I just go like you said, it's the same move set. Like Goldberg, like think about it, buddy. Look at this. Think about this. You came back, had that return. You were great. You had a great promo, right? You shocked the world with Brock Lesnar. Like that was legitimate, shocking, amazing. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was amazing. And then, you know, you had that moment at Royal Rumble, another nice shocking moment, and then you lost to, you know, Brock Lesnar. If he ended it there, like, would you say it tarnished his legacy? I would say it maybe even helped his legacy out.
Yep, I would have been fine with it. Yep.
And then it just one after another, like just mistake after mistake after mistake, and it's just downhill. So
Undertaker match.
That wasn't what I don't know what that was. That wasn't a match. That was that was like two guys sparring in the ring that were like 87 years old. Like you know me, I'm pretty positive overall, but like Goldberg, like, come on, man. He's like 100.
Yeah.
He can't wrestle. He can't move. Like, he can cut a promo. I'll give him that. But like, that's it. Like, he's done. Like, I don't want to see him anymore. Like, give that spot to Keith Lee.
Yeah,
give that spot to someone else.
Yes.
Like I don't want to see it anymore. Stop with this nostalgia crap. With that, oh no, I guess I can't say that because I marked out for John Cena. So I don't know.
Yeah, but John Cena is you talk about a guy that is fully polished. I mean, Goldberg is a one-trick pony. He's intense. He's got a great look, and he has a great finish. That's it. He can't talk on the mic very well. I've never seen him cut a great promo. Like, maybe upon his return it was decent, but I've never had him like grab my soul and like, man, that was awesome. Like, I've never had that with Goldberg. So John Cena it's not even to me a comparison, because John Cena is otherworldly on the microphone. Yeah, he's limited in the ring, but he's had some 5-star matches with some world-class talent. He is main evented WrestleMania, I can't tell you how many times. He's got a gravitational pull on the screen where, I mean, there's so much that's not even close with Goldberg. But yeah, I think you are right with the catch about Bobby Lashley tweeting that out. It's a clear setup that the office probably told Bobby, hey, tweet this out, and now he does. So it's a great setup for when Bobby asks who's next, and oh boy, here we go. It's going to be dun 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 dun. Like,
he has a good entrance.
Yeah, I know he's got all the superficial stuff.
Everything is good until the match starts.
As Jim Ross would say, he's all sizzle and no steak. Like, he's got he's got everything looking good, but that's where it ends. Like, when it comes to actually executing a match or cutting a great promo, doesn't exist. So anyway, yeah, I'm not excited about that at all. And I just hope, if they're going to do this, that the fans destroy him. That will make it worth watching, and I hope they don't go along with it. So Dallas fans, listen, please.
Yeah. No, what if they do something crazy and they have Goldberg low blow Bobby Lashley, turning Bobby Lashley kind of babyface, and have him as the face and Goldberg's the heel. That would be more interesting to watch than as a face. And if he's gonna get booed anyway, you might as well get the X-Pac heat, right?
That's exactly – no, that's what I said at the very beginning. I'm like, look, if you're going to turn him heel, he has a ton of stuff to pull from. He could easily be a heel, and then the fans – I think could go along with it. He's been this babyface since he returned in, 2016, 2017, whatever it was. So, yeah, it's time. Like, why the hell not? So – yeah. All right. Well, Kofi Kingston gets demolished here, as he should, and I hope that we can all just put to rest the fact that Kofi Kingston is ever a real threat to the World Championship ever again. I'm not going to go into my Kofi rants, but Bobby Lashley deserved this, and I think it was absolutely warranted given the storyline that they were trying to tell. I know people are probably pissed that it wasn't competitive, but you know what? In real life, matches shouldn't be always competitive. Like, that's not how life should be. That everybody's on equal footing. That's not how it works. So anyway, all right. I'm very interested in asking your opinion on this next match. I won't say anything on my thoughts until you give me yours on Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship.
It was a great match. Honestly, the crowd was digging it too. I was shocked. First of all, so Charlotte Flair starts off the match and she's getting "Let's go Charlotte" chants. Then the crowd decides to chant "We want Becky" like seconds after, which then Charlotte Flair decides to give the middle finger to the entire crowd, which I have a video of that, by the way, on my channel.
I saw that.
And then so like it's pretty funny. And I thought, God, man, like Charlotte was like likable by being unlikable today. She was so good. but I've always been a Charlotte, fan. So, like, I've always been one of the few Charlotte fans out there. So, I think Rhea Ripley had a great match. I think they had chemistry together. I couldn't believe it. I thought they had a great match, man. Like, I don't know why. I guess it makes sense, kind of Charlotte winning, but like I thought. So I guess it's Becky versus Charlotte now, like at SummerSlam, or like I don't know. Like I thought it was a good match. Like I don't know what you want me to say, to be honest. I thought it was a good match. I thought they had a good back and forth. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
This was. I was concerned at the beginning of this matchup that the fans were going to hijack this because there have been so many rumors about Becky returning. And you know what? I don't think the fans are all to blame because I've never said that word. Because
the flans, eh?
It's a food, isn't it?
That's a botch.
Yeah. But Becky Lynch posting an Instagram picture of her in Fort Worth. I mean, she's adding fuel to the fire. So it's not all the fans who are just being their internet troll self and getting all this, quote, inside information. They added to it by having Becky Lynch post a picture in Fort Worth talking about the pay-per-view. Like, what do you think they're going to do? So I was concerned about the fans hijacking this and just chanting Becky, Becky, Becky during the whole match. And I was like, oh man, I feel bad for these two because, they're busting their ass. They're kicking each other's like face in and they were having a great match and I was worried about it. But you know what? It showed the greatness that really Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley put together tonight, that they were able to overcome it. People quickly forgot about Becky and they started just getting into the match. That natural selection off the second rope, that near fall had me believing. I mean, like that when Rhea kicked out of that, I actually was like, what? I mean, it was so well done.
Subtle way to put her over, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a subtle way to put her over. Something, even though she lost, like she kicked out of it. Like she kicked out of that move. And how often do you see that? Ever? Have we ever seen it?
Especially when it's really a kind of an enhanced finishing maneuver when it's off the second rope. I mean, that should have even more impact and should have finished the match even faster or even more decisively. So I thought that was awesome. They had great chemistry all night. It probably was Rhea Ripley's best match she's had in on the main roster anyway to date. And it also shows I think the importance of the crowd being there. I mean, you could make that argument all night that the crowd being there helped every match. But in particular, this one was, I think, really helped by the fans. Not at first, but as it went on, I think the fans got into it. They were chanting, "This is awesome." Charlotte you could see it visibly. She was getting emotional about it. And it's hilarious that the fans cheered for her winning the Raw Women's Championship just mere minutes after she had flipped them off, and Kevin Dunn's in the production truck trying to hit the black screen like, no, right? So it was awesome. This was it shows the greatness of Charlotte Flair too. I mean, it doesn't hurt Rhea Ripley has one of the best of all time in there with her. So
yeah, and it makes me wonder what's going to happen now. Like Charlotte Flair was getting chance like before she did the middle finger thing. I'm trying to figure out what would happen like if the fans like hijacked that entire show, like you were saying. Like it would be awful. Like it would completely like taint maybe even like not the John Cena moment, but it would taint a lot of that show. And I'm so happy that they worked so hard and actually kind of said F you to them. Like kind of said, look at us. Look how good we did. Look at, you're making me cheer for these people. They were cheering Charlotte for multiple times during that match. Like she won them over. And like I said, like people respect Charlotte's ability to wrestle. It's just, I don't think they like her character because it's Charlotte Flair. Like, I don't think it's her ability to wrestle, which people are really upset about. So I loved it, man. I thought it was a great match. Probably even my match of the night, probably. Maybe the pre-show match, but I'll probably go with the match of the night on that one.
This was, to me, absolutely in the discussion for match of the night. I was, again, very concerned at the beginning, and then just as the minutes went on, they just proved that, like you said, they were basically saying F you, metaphorically and also very literally, as Charlotte Flair flipped off the crowd. You don't see that too often, by the way. I think that was real. I think that was real. That wasn't just like in my character. No, that was Charlotte Flair as a human being saying, F you guys, I'm about to bust my ass for you, and you're cheering for someone that's not even here. I mean, that was real from Charlotte Flair, and that's why they were scrambling the production truck to black out the screen. So yeah.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
They blacked it out for like 1 second, and then they come back and they just have a different angle.
Yeah, they missed. They tried, right? Like that's what live TV is. Yeah.
But like if she didn't do that, like think about that, man. Like it's unbelievable. I loved it. It was great.
It was awesome. So yeah, but Becky Lynch probably on her way back, maybe tomorrow night. Although if John Cena's there,
if John Cena and Goldberg is there, they're probably saving Becky for, I guess, the next month.
Yeah,
following Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Like, who's the SmackDown? Bianca, right?
It's Bianca. So
yeah,
that doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it's got to be Charlotte. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, it's Becky Charlotte." We've seen it 100 times, but you know it's going to be great. And they're at different points in their career. And it to me, it's fun. I'm okay with it. You know, Rhea Becky will happen. Hell, they could do a triple threat, right? Like they could do Becky versus Charlotte versus Rhea, but I don't know. So.
You got to protect Charlotte Flair, man.
I know, yeah, you do. You always got to stick her in the match. So, God, yeah, that's true. And have Rhea just take the fall. All right. Well, now we get on to
sarcastic. They don't need to protect. Why would you need to protect Charlotte? She has like 176 titles.
Oh no, I wasn't sure if you were being serious. So I just remembered that. All right. Well, let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Riddle, Ricochet, Morrison, McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I believe this was the very first time I've ever heard Johnny Drip Drip get a chant. He got his Tamina moment, I believe. And we may never hear John Morrison get a chant ever again, but it was cool. I always love when they get that, because I'm sure as real people, they're kind of like, this is awesome. Like, this is why I wanted to be a pro wrestler, to hear people chant my name. So I know on a human level, I'm sure they really feel that. But I'll let you take this one first.
No, you continue. I got a phone call. I think my wife's calling, but sorry, bear back 1 second.
Yep. So, all right. Well, this match, I got to say, I thought this was physical. It's exactly what you thought this was going to be. The spot with Ricochet doing his flip over the top rope was absolutely insane. The margin for error that Ricochet has in this matchup is slim. It's razor thin for the moves that he did that are high risk to begin with. And then he starts doing these moves that require multi-steps to pull off, with, again, just no margin for error whatsoever, jumping from the rope to the ladder, from the ladder to the top rope to do a flip onto everybody on the outside. This was Ricochet, you knew, while he didn't have an actual chance of winning this match, and he was there to be the resident stuntman, I think that he was definitely put on display here. So this was really good. And also Big E getting the response that he did. I think Big E was one of the stars of the night. So all right, so we'll make it quick here. Okay, so spots that he did were just mind-blowing, and you kind of knew going in that that's what was going to be the case. The margin for error on the moves that he did were just razor thin in terms of like life and death with some of the things he did. The spot with Kevin Owens going through the ladder, I thought he broke his neck. I was waiting for the referees to put the X sign up. I mean, I was waiting for that during the whole match, really. It's one of those matches that as a fan you enjoy because it's wrestling, but you also understand the risks involved, so you're kind of on a human level like, I'm actually concerned for these people because of all the things that could go wrong. But we had an interesting Drew McIntyre response where it was a little bit of booze for Drew, because I think we've all been kind of drewed out of the title picture, so to speak. And we got Jinder Mahal and Veer and Shanky interfering and dragging his carcass off. And then, of course, we end up getting a Big E victory. So what are your thoughts on this?
I'm really happy Big E won. I think that was the best possible choice. I think he's going to do good stuff with the title belt or with the Money in the Bank contract, and I feel like he will win that. He will win that when he cashes in. He deserves it. I think it would be a very nice opportunity for him to really push his singles career to a whole new level. So I love that. Drew McIntyre was getting booed, like sometimes even booed out of the building. It was unbelievable. I knew he would get a little bit of a mixed response, but he was getting booed like the first promo. Then he started getting booed in his entrance, and he was getting booed in the match. And I guess technically people were kind of upset, Jinder Mahal and all them. But like, I don't think people were that upset that he left the match. Like,
no, they were cheering when they dragged him away. They were cheering. Yeah.
This is 100% WWE's fault. like
no
this isn't a fan problem. This isn't fans are, fickle and all this type of stuff. No, this was 100% created by the WWE, by how they booked Drew McIntyre, giving him opportunity after opportunity. People remember John Cena. People don't like that stuff. You gotta mix it up. And you might have just hurt the guy you were pushing so heavily for so long to the point, like, it's probably recoverable, but it's going to take a lot of work to recover that. Like, there's going to be need to really get writing here to figure out how to recover from his, because the fans' confidence level with Drew McIntyre has went down significantly.
You can't put a guy in a title picture for 18 months, and 12 of those months he's champion, and then he's fighting and looking and striving for it the other 6, and have fans go, yeah, man, I really hope he wins this briefcase so that he can get right back into the title picture. I think there are fans maybe out there that are like that, probably more fringe fans and a small percentage of fans than the casual fans, like, well, I wouldn't call this casual, but the more mainstream fans that you and I are, or it's like, man, he's been in the title picture way too long, and this is WWE's fault, like you said, not the fault of Drew. But when you look at the depth, this is where depth being a problem rears its ugly head, is when you don't have top baby faces to challenge a heel champion, and you keep going back to the well on the same guy. You're going to damage your only asset of a major baby face, and Drew is just a victim of circumstance here, with being the only top baby face that they were at least willing to go to. I don't know why they didn't try to build anybody else seemingly, but any other thoughts on this match? Big E did get a really, really big victory. And what about Riddle? Did you think he had any chance? He was my pick, but that didn't happen.
I thought he looked fine. Like I thought he was hilarious backstage with the Randy Orton say. I love Matt Riddle right now. Like, I love him, man. Like, I don't know who's booking him. I guess it's probably like whoever's booking his character obviously has a sense of like comedicness, I guess, with his specific character, because like it's good stuff, man. Like, everything he does recently has been so funny, man. So I love the Matt Riddle character, and I thought he had a fine match. But my pick was always Big E. I think that was the no-brainer. But I think people would have popped for Riddle as well.
They would have, and I know that those of you that have Peacock like myself were having massive streaming issues before this, and it was really bad, frustrating 4-letter word bad for several minutes, and it was. We're not exactly having a love fest with Peacock to begin with, and then you add the fact that the streaming just went like they were on a 28K dial-up modem for about 10 minutes was bad. It was really bad and frustrating. So I missed the whole backstage segments and almost all the entrances to the Money in the Bank ladder, men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So I was surprised we didn't see Randy Orton too. I thought that we would. I thought that he would aid Riddle in this match, and he didn't. So I don't know what kind of vacation Randy Orton's taking. I mean, I'm not angry about it. I just wonder when that's going to kind of come back full circle. I would think maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I want Randy to come back. I miss Randy, and I think they have such a good dynamic. I actually thought Randy was going to turn. I thought he was going to turn on him. To be completely honest, I thought that's what they're.
It's not. It's too early. I still want to see them. There's more juice to squeeze out of their RK Bro. I got to say.
I don't want them to turn. Yeah. I think that's just what they're going to do.
They don't have a tag team division as it is, and they're going to
break up. They broke up the Hurt Business for no reason. Like, after they finally got over.
Zero. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get to the main event here. And yes, we talked about the John Cena return already, but the match itself, Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship. Do you want this one first, or do you want me to take it?
You got it, buddy.
All right. I would say this was also very, very good. I didn't have any issue really with the match itself. It was as physical as you would expect. Edge, with his eyes, always telling a great story. There's some good near falls. The backslide that Edge countered the Superman punch from was a believable near fall. The spear, to me, the most believable near fall came towards the end of the match, as you would expect, but it was when Roman Reigns was about to spear Edge after he had beaten him down with a chair, I think it was, and he was about to spear him, and you're like, oh, God, the referee's down, but he's about to get back up, and Edge ends up spearing Roman Reigns, and then you're like, oh, my God, and you're thinking he can actually win here. At least I was. It was a very believable near fall. Having Jimmy and Jay predictably come back out, only to have Rey Mysterio and Dominic neutralize them was, I think, a nice touch. And yes, we do get the Seth Rollins interference that we all, I think, saw coming.
Did you see the botch?
Which one?
Oh, there you go. I got it.
Right.
Roman Reigns went after that Edge spear. There was no referee in the ring, and he went for the cover, but the crowd was so loud, and they said 1, 2, and Roman Reigns kicked out.
He kicked out of the crowd chanting
the first crowd chant of the thing, because he thought that the referee was there. And even Pat McAfee was like, he still kicked, and then he stopped because Vince probably was saying, shut up, shut up, shut up. And then the referee came in and kicked out for the second time. Now, I couldn't do that video because it's pay-per-view, so it's hard. Yeah. So, but like if it was a Raw, I would put it up for sure. But definitely go back and watch that moment, because he actually kicked out of the first.
I've never seen that.
No, I've never seen that. It was the first time I've ever seen that.
Wow. All right, everybody, go back and watch that. Wow. What did you think about the rest of the match? Seth Rollins interference, I'm sure you kind of saw coming too.
Started slow, and it usually is with these big type matches.
Yep.
But it started really slow,
excessively slow. Yes, I agree.
Like a little more slower than I would have liked, but I thought it did ramp up. Edge still looks good for his age. I probably would say this is not the best match he's put in recently. Like I think so far he probably has the least chemistry with Roman. I thought his matches like Randy Orton were better, for example. I thought it was a good match. Like, I don't think it was great. I think it was a good match. 7.5, kind of nice little back and forth. I thought the spots were good. I thought the writing was good. I liked the ending. Like, not so much like the Seth Rollins stuff. We'll talk about that in a second, but just the way, like, the referee was knocked out. I love how they set it up. Like, I thought it was well written. Like, even when he got him with that pipe, right? Or the chair thing. Mm-hmm. I thought that was well written. It was a nice little flash thing. So I liked that. Now, the problem with the Seth Rollins thing, it was just so hinted. It was hinted like 2 weeks ago, and then a week ago it was hinted in social media, and then if you didn't know, like Seth Rollins literally cuts a promo at the beginning of the show, like after he loses his first match. He's literally saying, "I need to go after the championship," right? So literally saying he's going to interrupt that match. So I thought it was a little too obvious. I thought maybe at the end when he was staring at Roman for some weird reason, I was thinking, could this be like a mini Shield reunion? Like I thought they were going to both turn at Edge and then just go off on him type thing. But then that obviously didn't happen. So it looks like it's going to be, I guess, John Cena versus Roman, but where does, I guess it's just Seth and Edge, right? And that's it, right? Like Seth, Edge, and Roman, Cena, and then I guess Becky, Charlotte, and then who's Bianca going against?
Just maybe a returning Sasha. I mean,
Bianca, Sasha, that's happening for sure.
And I know that they were treating this, and it's been said many times, especially by Drew McIntyre in several interviews he's done, that they're treating SummerSlam this year like this year's WrestleMania, because it's going to be a packed stadium in Vegas, no COVID restrictions. It's just full bore.
Which stadium?
Is it Alliance? What is the stadium in Vegas?
Is it the one, like the big one, like the one with like the 100,000, or is it just like a normal?
I think it was like 60. They said like 60, 70,000 people.
Woo!
So
good show.
It's gonna feel like WrestleMania. Yes. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's August 21st. So we got another almost exactly a month. So, well, yeah, as far as like wrapping up the show here, I thought this was a very, very good pay-per-view. You remember how much the crowd matters in a show like this, really in any wrestling show, in any sports event, but particularly with pro wrestling, given that the actual fans' reactions dictate the storylines. It's even more important, and it really added to, I think, not just the presentation and how it feels and looks and the energy, but also the effort of the stars in the ring. I think they gave it a little bit something extra when the fans are there and not just on LED boards, that it actually adds to the energy for everyone, and it's just so great to have everyone back.
You can't recreate that moment, like with John Cena returning in the Thunderdome compared to John Cena returning in the crowd. It's you can't recreate that moment as well as you can recreate it with the fans, and it added a lot to the show. Like it just, like, even think about that Charlotte Rhea match. Look how much added to that match. Like it just having the crowd there is awesome. It was magical. I absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic pay-per-view. A solid 9 out of 10. I thought it was just a really well done show. And by the way, I just looked it up. 65,000. Yes. So,
okay. Yep.
Man, that's going to be unbelievable at SummerSlam. But yeah, unbelievable show. I thought from the very beginning to the very end, I thought it was just I wasn't bored. Not even for a second, which is hard to say for a lot of no zombie matches, basically, is what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, no. I agreed. And, I guess a lot of people have pointed to the low point of being the tag team title match with the AJ and Omos versus the Viking Raiders. But even that match was fun, because of Omos and AJ and how the crowd was reacting to the Viking Raiders. Like there was even fun in that match to be had. So yeah, you're right. From top to bottom, there wasn't a sleeper. There wasn't one that you go, okay, guys, let's go to get some food, get some drinks, and we'll come back. I mean, it was great. I can't say, this wasn't a perfect pay-per-view. Streaming issues, that's not WWE's fault, and some weird booking and, all that kind of stuff is normal. But yeah, this was great. It was about as good of a pay-per-view as I could expect.
I love how the WWE Twitter, literally when Peacock fixed it, they made a quick tweet about it on the official WWE Twitter about it, because they were probably getting just the lambasted with messages on the Peacock thing.
I did not. What did they say? They
basically said it's back up, calm down type thing. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, I have to look at that. No, you're our resident news reporter here, like all this breaking
right?
news. Yeah.
That's what I'm the news guy, I guess now. I've evolved myself. Yeah. That's what happens when I'm on Twitter now. After not being on Twitter for years, that's what happens.
It's true, and you'll just like you said, evolve from the Botch Guy to the news guy, I guess.
So. I was the weather-man once, so.
You were. You did a great job with WrestleMania. You were reporting from about showers in the area and like delays, and it was good stuff. Yeah.
Over 1,000 people were watching my weather reports at WrestleMania.
It was actually really fun. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Probably the funniest moment of my like honestly, I've done YouTube for a long time. I've done covered stuff. Me randomly thinking to be a weatherman, I thought it as a joke. That actually people were watching and loving it. Like, I thought that was one of the funniest moments of my life.
And you're doing like a minute by minute update too, and like the temperature change, and like you had like graphics on your whiteboard for like thunderstorms or whatever, like clouds. It was awesome stuff.
I still don't even know the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit. And I remember like 1 minute update, and I'm like, it's raining, and then the guy's like, another update, he's like, what is it now? I'm like, well, it's been 37 seconds. It's still raining. It's like, how do you know? I'm like, because I haven't clicked refresh yet on my weather report thing yet. So
it was like, I don't know what, like you said, just thinking about that, I'm like, that's a good idea. Oh God! We won't tell those thousands of people that tuned in to hear the local forecast that day. Good stuff. Well, Botch Guy, it's been great. And before you go, let everyone know again where they can find you on YouTube and any other social media.
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter, Botch_Guy. It's the real Botch Guy on there. I'm trying to get that to 1,000 followers. It's been growing quite quite heavily now recently, so it's been nice. Also, follow your boy WWE Podcast here on Twitter as well, Wrestling Audio. Definitely go follow him.
Yep. Yeah.
And also obviously my YouTube channel. It's something I've been growing. I just posted a couple of videos today, and they went absolutely insane. And it's just the support I get from my community is bonkers. So if you guys like to laugh, or if you guys like stupid stuff, like, let me know, and just head over there and leave a subscription, leave a subscribe, tell your friends, network. And I appreciate you having me on the show, man. It's always a pleasure. I'll do next pay-per-view for sure.
And it's going to be a huge one next time. I mean, like, if they're treating this like their WrestleMania, I expect some massive, not matchups, but just news and swerves and everything else coming out of it. So,
but Matt, let me just quick little comment here. Like, how do you top? Like, so if they save Becky Lynch returning, then that's the only way, like, I can think of them topping. Because, like, how do you top the returns that have happened already? So let's just say you have I guess Sasha's coming back. That's not that big. Whatever. Goldberg's gonna be pissed. People are gonna be pissed off about it. Whatever. So there's Becky Lynch, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's it. That's the last one. I guess The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah.
Oh, I guess The Rock.
Mm-hmm. The Rock. Yeah. That's like your top dog, right? I mean,
so The Rock, after the match against John Cena, or the next night, or just save it for WrestleMania season?
I still think it'll be like towards the end of the year, like end of this calendar year. I don't think that they'll do it anytime before then. They'll have somebody in the interim, probably a couple of guys, get you from August to November or December. I mean, that's like a 3-4 month period. You could have a couple of good programs. Plus, they're going to be doing a shakeup, right? Like, they'll be doing a draft, so they'll be able to easily get through. Yeah,
Matt, we're hilarious though, eh? We're marking out over John Cena, okay?
I know.
And The Rock potentially returning, like, is it ever going to change? Are we ever going to change?
We unfortunately, we are the fans that Vince McMahon thinks that everyone is, right? Like that. We want the Attitude Era stars back. They're the ones that draw money. But there's a time and place for it, and I don't think it needs to be done all the time. I think Vince overdoes it a lot. But in this case, like you said, making exceptions for John Cena and The Rock. Like, I mean,
Goldberg. Don't forget about Goldberg.
Oh God. Oh, everybody, get your vocal cords all cleaned up and get ready to chant tomorrow night with for Goldberg, okay? I mean, make sure.
I guarantee you I'm screaming no in my video. I'm just letting you know. Get ready.
Yeah, and if you didn't have a PG channel, I'm sure some 4-letter words would be coming out of your mouth too.
You too.
yeah, I know. I have a PG show too, but maybe I'll make like an uncensored, unleashed version of this or something. I don't know.
Hey, and just to let you guys know, the people that do listen to this, obviously he's a nice guy on radio, but I'm telling you right now, off camera, off radio here, off podcast, he's Matt's really nice guy too, man. He really is genuine, and definitely keep supporting him, man. He's fantastic, and he even gives me a platform here to talk crap to you guys. So I appreciate it, and support him, buddy.
I appreciate that, and you're breaking kayfabe here. I have a character I have to upkeep, right? I don't want to turn babyface. I like being the heel. So,
oh, did I say? Yeah. I didn't use your last name. It's okay. We're good.
Yeah, no, that's all right. My last name. I'm sure some people out there do the research and they know what it is, but
it's okay. Just edit it out.
Yeah, that's beautiful audio editing that's about to happen. Yes. So, all right, brother. Well, it's been fun, and we will be catching up very soon as we get to SummerSlam.
All right. See you later.
All right. Good night.